All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for some real people out there, just like you and just like me. All right, here is Freedom by Journey. I'm going to be talking about Steve Perry and Neil Schon and Jonathan Cain and Dolly Parton. All right, the album is upside down. Let's just make it look really good there. See, decent artwork. You got to give these guys credit. They put out a nice looking album if you're a Journey fan, another one to add to your collection. And yes, I know I'm late to the party, but I'm enjoying the Freedom album, and I think everybody should give it another listen. Steve Perry, working with Dolly Parton on her new album Rockstar, is contributing harmony vocals to Journey's classic song Open Arms. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to hearing it. More or less because it'll be interesting. But I find it kind of ironic that Steve Perry, willing to work with Dolly Parton, not willing to work with Neil Schon. And the way things are put together these days, basically he just mailed in his backing or harmony vocal. He says here, when I first got the track, so obviously they sent him the track, I could not believe how strong and amazing her voice was. I did my very best to keep up with that girl, but boy, she's got fire. And to quote her on my telephone, she said, I think we harmonize well together, don't you? And I said, absolutely, my dear, absolutely. So at least they had a conversation. Obviously, they weren't in the studio together. In a post on Facebook, Perry expressed how thrilled he is about the excitement surrounding the record, noting, I've been a Dolly Parton fan for years and years, and to sing one of my songs with her was truly a thrill. Now, Perry says one of my songs. Now, I have to kind of interject here a little bit. People are going to say, yeah, it's a Steve Perry song. What are you talking about? Well, Jonathan Cain brought the melody in there and was playing it one day, and Perry was like, what's that? And Jonathan Cain was like, well, it's something, and it's a little too schmaltzy or a little bit too syrupy for John Waite, who didn't like it in the Babies. And so Cain was sitting on this melody and brought it to Journey, and it became Journey's biggest song ever, at least chart-wise, hit number 2, stayed there for a number of weeks. So you've got to give Jonathan Cain a little credit here. This is a Perry/Cain composition. Perry wouldn't have had to deal with Jonathan Cain if, say, Cain played keyboards on Dolly's new version and mailed his track in so it could be mixed. And I think that would have been appropriate. I think Dolly Parton should have reached out to Jonathan Cain. And the other little bit of irony here is Steve Perry, willing to work with Dolly Parton, says it was truly a thrill to do this, but not at all wanting to work with his old bandmates at all, including Neil Schon. Neil Schon over and over again has said, hey man, why don't we just collaborate? It doesn't have to be Journey. It could be Steve Perry featuring Neil Schon on guitar. And yeah, I know the lawsuits, the coup attempt, everything is just so crazy. But at the end of the day, fans would love that. Fans would be, imagine if Freedom, right, which again features Arnel Pineda on most of the tracks. I think Dean Castronova has one song. Imagine if there was one track that featured the vocals of Steve Perry. You want to move some product out there? That would be the way to do it. Oh no, it's a reunion, Perry goes around saying, then people would expect me to reunite. At this stage, no. I mean, how easy is it to record some vocals and mail them out and just have, somebody mix it down and put it on the record and say, hey, here I am. It's today's technology, very easy. And you don't have to be in the room with these guys. You don't have to talk to them if you don't want to. You can have a phone call, maybe, and say, hey, what'd you think of that vocal? Yeah, I liked it a lot. Thanks for doing that. We appreciate that. This isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm just kind of thinking through and saying, yeah, he's really excited about working with Dolly Parton. This is a high profile thing because Dolly is a big deal. And she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. And so she decided to put out an album called Rockstar. So she could at least have a rock album. It's going to be interesting because she's got other special guests on the record, including Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, along with Steven Tyler, Elton John, and Stevie Nicks. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to listen to for sure. But for Steve Perry fans, for Journey junkies that are out there, it seems like, again, a kind of another missed opportunity. But it'll be interesting to hear Steve on a Journey classic with Dolly singing the lead and he's doing the harmonies. I think a lot of people would like to kind of hear Steve doing the lead and maybe Dolly doing the harmonies, but that's not going to happen. In any event, folks, it doesn't appear that Steve Perry is ever going to have that coffee with Neil Schon. And my other complaint here is, hey, Jonathan Cain, he's a big co-writer on Open Arms. He had the idea, he brought it in, and he deserves the credit for that one. You know, I call the balls and strikes, people, and Jonathan Cain, kind of criminal that he was left off of Open Arms, in my humble opinion. But he wasn't left off of Freedom. In fact, I think he helped write many of these songs. The album basically was declaring that we needed freedom from the tyranny, sort of indirectly, of all the lockdowns and the chaos. And good for them for making that a theme. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you think of it. Please do that. I'm getting destroyed via the algorithm, and I've been doing this for a while, and it's just weird that all of a sudden I'm having all these issues. Some people think it's because I interject politics, and a lot of people don't want to hear the politics. And I'm thinking that if we don't have discussions, we're not going to be free people for much longer if we don't talk these things out. And so I tend to include some of that. I know that content that is just more generic and less offensive seems to do a lot better. You know, stick to my lane and so forth. I hear this over and over again. But I appreciate those that have stuck with me, including new patrons on Patreon. You can do $1, $5, $10, whatever you can afford. And then YouTube memberships, $2.99 a month. So that's a good way to at least help out a little bit. And I appreciate all of it. And of course, I will see you all very soon.